Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Keys and Bricks, real advice for real estate decisions. Keys and Bricks is powered by Brilliant Elite Homes, a real estate company that is focused on property sales, letting, leasing, and property consultancy. For more information about Brilliant Elite Homes, kindly visit our website on www.brilliantelitehomes.com. Alternatively, you can also email us on sales@brilliantelitehomes.com. During our last episode, we discussed about investing in tiny homes. It was quite an interesting conversation and very educational. Just to catch up on what we talked about, here is a brief recap of the episode.
The tiny homes became more acceptable. We started seeing more prefabs. The Chinese came with the advent of the prefabs, which can be done in 2 weeks. Then also we started seeing containers being converted into offices and homes. So all that led to now acceptance that these tiny spaces, who are you building for? Are you building because of other people or you're building for you? So the tiny spaces became more acceptable. And that's where Alan is saying it just depends on your need.
For more information about the whole episode, you can visit our YouTube page, Brilliant Elite Homes. So today's episode is quite interesting. We had left that out some time back when we were dealing with the contracts. And we are privileged to have one of our partner advocates in the show to take us through titles, the different types of titles. So I'll let them introduce themselves and tell us where they come from. Karibu, Grace.
Thank you, Lorraine. My name is Grace Mushoka. I'm an advocate at Mark and Partners Advocates, which is based in Two Rivers. I am the head of banking and finance securities. Thank you.
Karibu sana to the show. So to start us up, let us take us through what titles are.
So a title is a document that gives you ownership of a piece of property. And it is a title that is given by the government and it is an official document. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what types of titles do we have?
So there are different types of titles in Kenya. There are two categories. There's a freehold title and a leasehold title. So for the freehold titles, these are the titles that are normally written, title deed, on top, on the face of it. And the leasehold titles are normally written certificate of lease. Some are written certificate of title, depending on the regime where the title has been registered under. Because in Kenya, there are different regimes for registration of titles.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want to go to those details. Yes, but there are titles we call RLA titles. Then there are RTA titles. And now there are sectional titles also.
Okay.
Yes, sectional titles are also, there are some that are freehold, others are leasehold.
Okay.
Yes. Then there are also titles called subleases. These ones really confuse most people because they come in form of a booklet. It's a booklet full of covenants, full of agreements inside. Like they have terms. They look like a contract, but it's just a big booklet.
Okay.
And it's between a lessor. Lessor is the owner. Then there's a management company. Then the lessee. Lessee is now the person who's bought it.
Oh, okay.
So some people hold those titles, not knowing their titles because they look like booklets. Yes, and these are the ones that now are being converted to sectional titles.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what are some of the advantages of freehold titles?
So the advantage of a freehold title is it doesn't have an expiry term. The owner of the title is free to use it the way they want to use it. There's no restriction. That's the main advantage. And they normally have a higher value because they don't have an expiry term. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now leasehold. The leasehold titles.
Yeah.
I have come across most of the questions that we've had is someone produced the leasehold title. It's certificate of lease, and then it's written 90. Is it
99
99 years?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think most people, what he was saying, he was trying to sell this property, but yet then anyone who is interested to buy the property, when he gives that certificate of lease, people shy away. They feel like it's not a genuine title. What would you tell such people?
What I'd tell them is a certificate of lease is a title. It is a legit title, and it comes from the government of Kenya. It's just that its term is shorter. It's 99 years. And others even have a shorter term than 99. 99 is it's actually long. Others have a term of 45 years, others have even 21 years, and people buy them. So it depends on the nature of what you're buying that title for. So if you want to maybe build apartments and you want to sell them off, within those 99 years, you'll have recovered. So I wouldn't discourage anyone from buying a leasehold title just because of the term. And most of the titles, especially the ones that are in municipalities and towns, are leasehold titles. So if you want to invest in such an area, you'd most probably have to buy a leasehold title.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there any restrictions on the property that have leasehold titles?
Most of them have a user. All the leases have a user. So some are residential, some are multi-dwelling, some are commercial. So before buying, you need to be sure what kind of user that is put on your title.
Okay.
So that if the user that is on your title is not the right user that you want to use that property for, you need to do something we call a change of user. So it's possible you can buy a residential user title, then you convert it through a process called change of user so that you can use it for the use that you want to use it for.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have communal land. What is given on communal land? If someone buys into communal land, how safe are you?
Okay. So the first thing is that communal land is land that belongs to a community. So it's not land that you buy and sell like private land. It is jointly owned by the entire community. So when dealing with such properties, you need to be very careful because you must get permission from the community committee. Yes, not anyone is allowed to just deal with the community property. Then it's not dealt with like any other private property. So you will not come across like a property written Maasai community or this and this other community. Yes, so we normally don't really deal with those kinds of properties because they are owned by large communities and they're normally like pastoralists and such. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you give, what advice would you give buyers and investors when dealing with property titles?
I would tell them they should know the types of titles. They should know whether it's a freehold or a leasehold, depending on the use they want to use it for. They should always, if it's a leasehold, they should always check the term. Because if you buy a title that has like only 5 years or 10 years remaining, it wouldn't really serve your purpose. And you'll have to go through the process of renewal, and which is also at a cost. And you should verify the ownership of the properties. That includes doing the searches and from the lands registry. You should also check the boundaries. That means you get a surveyor to go to the ground and confirm the boundaries. They match what is indicated on the title. You should also get a property lawyer because all land transactions in Kenya should be in writing and they should be done by a lawyer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you should also visit the site because when you visit the site, that's when you will get to know whether that property is actually existing,
Or not.
whether someone is selling you a house, but when you go to the ground, you find that there's no house, or you find there's those notices that we see, beware.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
the owner of the land is not actually selling, and someone else is purporting to sell. Yes. Then you should also check whether that property has been used as a loan, to take a loan. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the some of the common pitfalls to avoid when dealing with property titles?
So some of the things you can avoid is not verifying the title. Like just someone telling you, I'm selling the property, then you just believe them and you just take the word of mouth. That's really discouraged. You should do a search. You shouldn't trust anyone when it comes to property, even if it's your friend, even if it's a relative. Just make sure you verify the title. You should also search the owner of the property. Make sure the ID matches what is put on the title. If it's a company, make sure you do a company search. You should also visit the land that you're purchasing. I think I've mentioned that.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yes, you should go to the site, verify, make sure the boundaries are okay, and there's no historical dispute. Because at times when you go and visit, you might find someone there who will tell you, by the way, this property, people keep coming to buy, and this owner is selling to several people. Then you need to pay attention to the user of the property. If you're planning to build maybe a commercial building, you need to know this is an agricultural property I'm buying. If I want to build apartments, what will I do? Will the user be granted? Can I be allowed to change it? Yes, so you need to pay particular attention to that. Then you should always have written agreements, and that now includes the lawyers. The lawyers are the ones who do that. Then you should never ignore encumbrances. Encumbrances are the loans. Like someone might have a loan, and this one you'll discover when you do a search at the lands registry. Then you should never purchase from unverified sellers. Yeah, because at times people buy properties from maybe brokers, or someone tells you have been sent by this owner, yet the owner is not aware that someone is actually selling that property. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the last thing, the last thing is registering the transfer. You need to make sure you register the transfer, because most people do a sale agreement. After they do a sale agreement, they stay with the title together with the sale agreement, and they never register it. So in the event that the person who sold to you passes on, now you'll be part of the succession process. So make sure that you register, the transfer. Yeah.
Okay. That's very educative. Recently, there was a ruling in court. I think there's someone who lost land. They lost land, and yet they had a title. But from the ruling, it appeared that they acquired the title in fraudulent way. Are you aware? I know you're aware of this case.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm aware
So
of the case.
what happened in this instance?
In that matter that you're talking about, someone originally owned the property. Then the lease had an expiry term. So before it lapsed, before it expired, they applied to the government for renewal. But they never got any notification that the renewal was done. And during this period, that land was allocated to someone else. So this new buyer went to now evict the first owner. So the first owner went to court saying that they had done the application for renewal, and the government never responded. Yet now they are getting someone who's coming to evict them. So the ruling of the court in that matter was, even if you have a valid title, which this second party had, it does not mean that property is yours. Yes, so because they look at how did you acquire that title. Since this title was acquired in a fraudulent way, then it cannot pass those ownership rights to you. Yes, so nowadays, even if someone gives you a title or sells to you a property and you get a valid title, it doesn't mean that property is yours if it was acquired in an illegal way. And I think that now brings us to historical searches. You need to see like what we call the root of title. You need to find out, where did this title originally come from? Was it gotten in the right way? Did these people like sell it? Was it allocated from the government to the owners? Like you need to trace how it began until it got to you. And that's where now the lawyers assist.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to do it as an individual. But if it's a lawyer, they'll go to the lands registry, they'll peruse the files, they'll check that the property has been passed on well until now, the point at which you're purchasing it. Yes.
I think now that brings it out clearly that when you're purchasing land or any property, it is important to have an advocate
It is.
help you through that process.
Yes.
Because you see now, some of these things, no one will know. We assume that once I have a title, then I have ownership.
Yes.
So when these things happen, then the reality kicks in,
Yeah.
that even that title is not enough.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah. So what final advice would you give to our listeners regarding property issues?
Maybe I can share with you the maybe recent things that have happened in
yes.
the property space.
Yes.
There's something we call conversion of titles. I don't know whether people have been seeing the gazettes. There are some notices that have been appearing in the newspapers listing people's property numbers. So mostly they are the ones in Nairobi. People are required to now convert from the old LR numbers, those land reference numbers, to get new Nairobi block numbers. So if your title is in Nairobi mostly, it should be taken back to the lands registry. Then you're given a new title with a new number called a Nairobi block title. Yeah, that's a recent development that it really affects the people in Nairobi. Yes, so they need to be aware of that. The second thing, it's a Adhisasa. There's something we call Adhisasa. It's an online system that has come up recently. It's not very recent, maybe in the last 5 years or something. That one has become mandatory. All the people who have those Nairobi block titles must register on Adhisasa, and all dealings are done on Adhisasa. If you want to sell, if you want to take a loan with your property, you must go through Adhisasa. So if you find yourself with that old title and you want to sell it, you must first convert. Then now you do the registration of the transfer, or what we call a charge on Adhisasa. Yes.
Okay.
Then even stamp duty. Nowadays, when people are paying stamp duty, everyone must have an Adhisasa ID. Yes. Before it was optional, but this year it has been made to be mandatory. So everyone must get an Adhisasa account. Then in terms of property titles, what the listeners need to be aware of, they should always verify the title to make sure it is legit, the owner is the rightful owner, and it does not have the encumbrances. Then you should always engage an advocate to assist you in terms of registration of the transfer. Then you should always understand the type of title, whether it's a freehold title or a leasehold title, and confirm the land use of the title, be it agricultural, residential, multi-dwelling. You need to ensure the title you're buying is the rightful title in terms of the user. Then you should ensure you pay the stamp duty and register the transfer in your name so that you get the title with your name on it.
Okay.
And lastly, you should always keep your documents safely, because that title is the evidence that you own the property. Yes. Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's very good. I think I've forgotten to ask something that is very also critical in titles. It's the sectional titles. Nowadays, I think it's apartments that are given the sectional titles.
Yes.
Maybe you can speak on that a little.
Yeah. Now, a while back, people used to get subleases. I know that people are still getting the subleases even now, but there's a new act that came into force that deals with sectional titles. Sectional titles are just individual titles of apartments, the ones that I've mentioned called subleases. Before we used to get those booklets, but now people who own apartments can actually have a title like the same as the title deeds.
Yeah.
Yes, so you'll have that title to your unit of apartment. So that gets rid of what we used to call a management company, that people used to go there for consents. When you want to take a loan, you had to go to the managers. When you wanted to sell, you had to get a consent. So now with a sectional title, you no longer need that. Yes, so it actually helps in a way that you have like security and you have ownership of your property
Yeah.
without really relying on other owners or the management company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So even as we wind up, let me introduce you to a project, a property in Kakamega, a place called Lubao. We have serviced plots. There were 24, but we have a few units left. So these plots, service plots are an eighth, 50 by 100. The titles are ready in 30 days, meaning those are genuine titles because there's already been due diligence that has been done. So in this project, you buy, build, and live. There's an option of buying land, and there's an option of buying land and the house. You buy land, and when you get the package for the house, then we construct for you. For the land deposit, you pay a 20% deposit. And for the land, for the house, you pay 30% deposit. For more information on this, kindly check our screen. There are contacts. Our number is there. Our email, sales@brilliantelitehomes.com, is also there. You can send us an email or make inquiries through the phone that is displayed on the screen. So, Grace, your closing remarks.
My closing remarks are people should always engage advocates. You should always do searches. And when you're dealing with properties, don't just assume just because you see a title deed that it is the rightful title. You should always take an extra step to ensure that whatever you're buying is legitimate, because you're going to use money to invest. Yes.
Thank you, our viewers, for listening to us, and I hope this has been very informative and educational. I want to close the show on this. I have been your host, Lorraine Ashimosi, and this has been Keys and Bricks, real advice for real estate decisions.